While the world was sleeping peacefully, he was fighting a battle nobody could see. At 2:47 a.m., while thousands of apartment windows across the city were dark and silent, one small light still glowed on the top floor of a broken building in Chicago. Inside the tiny apartment sat a man named Ethan Cole, 24 years old. No rich parents, no powerful connections, no college degree, no talent that made people stare in amazement. Just tired eyes, a worn-out hoodie, and a dream that refused to die. Most people who knew Ethan thought he was wasting his life. Some called him obsessed. Some called him delusional. And some quietly waited for him to fail. But they never saw what happened after midnight. They never saw the lonely mornings, the freezing walks, the silent tears, the panic attacks, the discipline, the sacrifices, the endless war happening inside his mind. Because success is invisible before it becomes visible, and Ethan was about to learn that the hard way. Ethan grew up in a small neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. The kind of place where people learn very early that life was unfair. Old buildings, broken streets, police sirens at night, people surviving instead of living. His father worked long shifts driving trucks across different states. His mother cleaned hotel rooms for minimum wage. Money was always tight. Sometimes the electricity bill stayed unpaid for weeks. Sometimes dinner was nothing more than bread and canned soup. But despite everything, Ethan's parents tried their best. His mother always told him, your situation is temporary if your mindset stays strong. At the time, Ethan didn't fully understand those words. Because when you're young you compare your life to everyone else. And Ethan felt behind. At school, he watched other students wearing expensive clothes, talking about vacations, new phones, and future plans. Meanwhile, Ethan was trying to hide holes in his shoes. He laughed with everyone, but deep inside he felt invisible. By the time he turned 16, social media made everything worse. Every day he opened his phone and saw people winning. Luxury cars, perfect bodies, perfect relationships, success, money, freedom. And every night he asked himself the same question: why does everyone else seem ahead of me? That question slowly became poison, because comparison destroys confidence quietly. And without realizing it, Ethan started doubting himself. He stopped speaking much, stopped believing much, stopped dreaming much. But life was about to push him even harder. When Ethan was 19, his father suffered a serious back injury during work. Everything changed overnight. The family lost most of its income. Medical bills piled up. Stress filled the apartment. Arguments became normal. His father, once strong and energetic, now spent most days sitting silently near the window. That image destroyed Ethan. Because for the first time, he realized something terrifying: nobody was coming to save them. So Ethan dropped out of community college and started working. Warehouse shifts, construction jobs, night cleaning, food delivery, anything that paid. He worked until his hands became rough, until his knees hurt, until exhaustion became normal. But no matter how hard he worked, life still felt heavy. One night, after a 14-hour shift, Ethan stood outside a convenience store staring at his reflection in the glass. Dark circles under his eyes, tired face, empty expression. And suddenly he whispered, "Is this all my life is ever going to be?" That moment changed everything. Because pain can either destroy you or wake you up. A few nights later, Ethan came home exhausted. The apartment was silent. His parents were asleep. He opened YouTube and randomly clicked on a motivational speech. At first, he barely listened. But then one sentence hit him like lightning. Your future changes the moment your daily habits change. Ethan froze. He replayed the sentence again, and again, and again. For the first time in years he realized something. Maybe he wasn't trapped because of his past. Maybe he was trapped because his mind had accepted defeat. That night, At 3:18 a.m., Ethan grabbed an old notebook and wrote, "I will become someone my younger self would be proud of." Simple sentence. But sometimes one honest decision can change the direction of an entire life. The next morning, Ethan woke up at 5 a.m., not because he felt motivated, because he was tired of hating himself. That's the truth most people never understand. Real discipline rarely starts with motivation. It starts with pain. At first, everything was hard. His body hurt. His mind resisted. His old habits fought back. While everyone slept late, Ethan started waking up early. While others wasted hours scrolling endlessly, he started reading. While others complained about life, he started learning skills online. Nobody noticed. Nobody clapped. Nobody cared. And that's where most people quit. Because they want immediate results. But the beginning of transformation is always invisible. Weeks passed. Then months. Ethan developed a strict routine. 5 a.m. wake up. Morning workout. Work shifts. Learning business and marketing at night. Reading before sleep. Repeat. Every single day. No excuses. Even when tired. Even when stressed. Even when depressed. Especially then. But discipline has a price. And one of the hardest prices is loneliness. His old friends started disappearing. Some mocked his new lifestyle. You think you're gonna become rich watching videos online? Bro, relax. Life isn't that serious. You've changed. Maybe he had. Because growth changes people. Ethan stopped partying. Stopped wasting weekends. Stopped chasing validation. He became obsessed with improving himself. And obsession makes average people uncomfortable. One night, an old friend laughed and said, "You're working hard for a life that probably won't happen." Ethan smiled quietly. But deep inside those words hurt. Because even strong people struggle with doubt. That night, he sat alone on the rooftop of his building staring at the city lights. Cold wind, dark sky, silent streets. And for the first time in months he cried. Not because he was weak. Because carrying dreams nobody understands becomes heavy. Very heavy. The winter of that year became the hardest period of Ethan's life. Temperatures dropped below freezing. Work hours were reduced. Money became tighter. His father's health worsened. One evening, Ethan checked his bank account. $43. That was all he had. $43. Meanwhile, rent was due. Bills were waiting. And pressure kept growing. That night, negative thoughts attacked him harder than ever. What if everyone was right? What if I'm wasting my time? What if I never become successful? The dangerous thing about life isn't failure. It's hopelessness. Because once a person loses hope, he stops fighting. And Ethan was close to breaking. At 1 a.m., unable to sleep, he walked through the freezing streets of Chicago. Snow covered the sidewalks. Cars moved slowly through the storm. He entered a small diner just to escape the cold. An old waitress served him coffee. She looked at his exhausted face and asked, "Long night?" Ethan nodded. Then she said something unexpected. "You look like someone carrying the weight of the future on his shoulders." Ethan laughed weakly. Then the woman smiled. "Listen carefully," she said. "Most people give up right before life changes." That sentence stayed in Ethan's mind for months. Because sometimes strangers remind us to keep going when we forget ourselves. After that night, Ethan made a decision. No more complaining. No more self-pity. No more waiting for motivation. Only action. He started documenting his routines. Fitness. Mindset. Discipline. Work ethic. At first, nobody watched. His first videos got 12 views. Sometimes 3. Sometimes none. But Ethan remembered something important. Before success becomes loud, progress is silent. So he kept posting. Again. 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 Months passed. His editing improved. His confidence improved. His body changed. His mindset sharpened. Slowly, He became someone different. Not because life became easier, because he became stronger. One rainy night, Ethan uploaded another video. Just another video. Or at least that's what he thought. The title was simple: The man you become depends on what you do in the dark. He went to sleep without expectations. The next morning, his phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Thousands of notifications, comments, messages, subscribers. The video exploded overnight. People from different countries connected with his story. Not because he was perfect, because he was real. Finally, all those lonely nights meant something. All the sacrifices, all the discipline, all the pain. It was working. But success didn't arrive like a movie. It arrived quietly. One step at a time. One upload at a time. One difficult day at a time. Within 2 years, Ethan completely changed his life. He built an online brand, started earning more, moved his family into a better apartment, helped pay for his father's treatment. But the biggest transformation wasn't financial. It was mental. The insecure boy who once felt invisible was gone. Now he understood something powerful. Confidence is built through promises you keep to yourself. Every early morning, every disciplined action, every difficult choice. Those things slowly build self-respect. And self-respect changes everything. One evening, Ethan stood on the balcony of his new apartment looking over the city skyline. The same city, but a completely different mindset. Then he remembered the version of himself who once stood outside that convenience store feeling hopeless. And quietly, he whispered, "You survived." Most people think successful individuals are special, but often they simply refuse to stop. That's the difference. Not magic, not luck, not talent. Persistence, discipline, consistency, the ability to continue when results are invisible. Because life tests everyone. Some people break, some people quit, some people blame the world forever. And some people decide, no matter how hard this becomes, I will keep moving forward. Ethan learned that transformation isn't one big moment. It's thousands of small difficult decisions repeated daily. Wake up, work, learn, improve, repeat, again, and again, and again, until the person in the mirror becomes unrecognizable. So if you're listening to this right now feeling behind in life, listen carefully. You're not late. You're not finished. And your current situation does not decide your final destination. Maybe right now nobody believes in you. Your life feels heavy. Your progress feels invisible. Your dreams feel impossible. But remember this. The strongest people are often built in isolation. The biggest transformations happen quietly. And sometimes your life changes simply because you refuse to give up on yourself. One day people will see your success, but they will never fully understand the lonely nights, the silent battles, the sacrifices, the discipline, the pain you survived to become that person. So keep going. Even when tired. Even when doubted. Even when progress feels slow. Because the version of you that you dream about is waiting on the other side of consistency. And maybe years from now you'll look back at this difficult chapter of your life and realize these were the days that built you. The days nobody saw. The days you worked while everyone slept. Success is invisible until one day it becomes impossible to ignore.